Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 27th day of July. You know, we've got Big Ten Media Days coming up later on this week. Last week, we had the SEC Media Days. We got Big Ten Media Days. We're going to talk a little bit of Ohio State, maybe touch on Indiana's upcoming schedule this week. Also, listen, last time I talked to you, LeBron James had not picked a team. Now, I'll tell you what. This is an interesting situation, him going to the Philadelphia 76ers. I think they're a real contender in the East, per se. I'll break that down as well. I'll tell you what, things are getting very weird in San Francisco with the 49ers. Cal Shanahan, pretty bad car accident on July the 14th. We didn't know about it till the 25th. And Chris Forster, that name should ring a bell to some of you NFL diehards. Interesting guy to be the assistant coach there. Talk about that as well. And, you know, I've got this guest here. Listen, folks, I don't know about you all here in Nashville area. My cell phone service with T-Mobile has been down for 4 hours. T-Mobile's been down here in Nashville for 4 hours. I've got my man T. Let me see what my man's name is. Is it TQ? Let me make sure I got his name right. Yeah, TQ, my Auburn fan. He's a writer. Want to talk a little bit about Alex England. What's his name? The Auburn head coach there. Alex Goulash, former South Florida coach. They're going to run a really high, fast-paced, high-octane offense. Going to talk about that team as well. Got a lot to cover with you for tonight's program. Stand by. We'll take our first and only break. I'll be back here momentarily, and we'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to Sports, that is Sports with an S, another S, Scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. You know, folks, I don't know how many of you can see me. The reports are that it is T-Mobile, but it's also other carriers here in the Nashville area that are down. Verizon, some Verizon users and AT&T users are down as well. Like I said, I've been down for 4 hours. I'm going off of the internet. This is scary. This is why you keep cash on you. This happened here in Nashville a few years ago in 2020, Christmas Day. Deranged man blew himself up in the AT&T building, knocking out services where I could not get gas at a gas station using my debit card. So trying to have cash on you, a little public service announcement here. If it wasn't for my Xfinity cable, I wouldn't be able to do the program tonight because, again, I can make a SOS call. I can call 911, but I can't call anybody. I can't do rideshare right now. This is pretty crazy. If it wasn't for this, for my Xfinity, which I'm using Wi-Fi, I wouldn't be able to bring your show. This is a pretty scary situation we're in right now with these cell phone outages, which has been for probably 4 hours right now with T-Mobile. So I don't know if my guest TQ is going to be able to come on. Seemed like a pretty cool guy, big Auburn fan. Picked him up on a short ride about 2 weeks ago down here in Nashville. Cool dude. Hope you can make it, TQ. If you can't, I understand. This is a pretty crazy day here in the Nashville, Middle Tennessee area. I'm curious what T-Mobile is going to say about this particular problem. Okay, now back to sports at hand. Listen, this was a pretty wild situation. When I was reading about LeBron James, the odds of where he was going to sign, The Auburn, they were all over the place. At first, it was Golden State had the high sides. Then it was the Lakers. Then recently, as of early last week, even a little bit before that, it was LeBron's going to sign with the Miami Heat, which I thought would be a realistic shot for him. He played for him before. They've got Giannis here. I thought he can run the point. But, man, he shocked everybody. I know they were a low chance, but Philadelphia was the best talented team. I just didn't think he would do it because he's never been there before. Not that much familiarity with the 76ers. But, man, he signs 2-year, $8 million deal, which is pretty much the league minimum for him. To put himself the best chance to win a championship, I'm shocked and pleasantly surprised with him playing with Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey. New reports, he will play point guard. This was as of today, widely sourced here, that he will play the point guard position here. He wants 2 rings to possibly tie with Jordan now, with the fact that he's got the all-time point scoring. He's got all these playoff records and whatnot because he's played, these 25 years this guy's played. You know, he'll be 40. He's 3 years younger. He'll be 42 in December, LeBron will be. Barkley said, I would put him above Jordan if he can get the 2 rings in this. And I don't think that's going to happen per se. Well, Barkley did say that earlier this week. I want to say on another interview, I think with Dan Patrick or somebody, that he would put him above Jordan. Now, if he could tie Jordan with all his records and accolades and rings, I would probably put him above Jordan. I don't think they're going to get there. But let me tell you something, folks. They've got Nick Nurse here, who is a championship level coach. Remember, Nick Nurse coached the 2019 Toronto Raptors when they won the championship with Kawhi Leonard. So he is a championship level head coach here. He's good. This is going to be a very challenging job for him to put these right pieces together and manage these minutes correctly. Now, my stance on LeBron has not changed as far as his minutes. He needs to cut off about 10 minutes a game. Same thing with Joel Embiid. Needs to cut off. They really need to not manage his games per play, but his actual minutes. You know, you want LeBron the last 5 minutes of the game. You want to start him, to air quote, start him, maybe play him 2 or 3 minutes and let him sit, manage his minutes that way. Not sit too much where he's rusty, but, you know, play a few minutes, where he's playing about, say, 24 instead of 33 minutes a night. He might not want to deal with that, but it's your best way to keep him healthy come playoff time, and they can make a run. But listen, folks, I mean, this is a very talented team. You know, somebody right off the bat pointed out, one of these reporters, they basically traded Paul George for Jaylen Brown, who's 29 years old, and LeBron James, a 42-year-old high-end IQ guy who is still good for 20-something, 28 and 8 a night, with his limited usage, of course, because of his age and whatnot. But he's still a pretty effective player, you know. I have to give him credit for this. I did not think he would do this. Now, I think back in 2018, think about it this way. Think if he was 34 years old and he made a purely basketball decision, and I was looking at the teams that were interested in LeBron James back in 2018, if he would have said, I want to play basketball and win championships and pass Jordan and be unanimous greatest player of all time back in 2018, if I would have went and played, say, with, for example, a James Harden and a Chris Paul, you say that might not work. No, hey, listen, they could have managed those men. LeBron could have played small forward and played with the ball in his hands and run some high pick and roll. I think Chris Paul would have took a back seat. I think LeBron would have played off the ball in that particular fit. They had Clint Capella on that team. They had some bigs inside there. Trevor Ariza. Remember, that team pushed Kevin Durant team to to game 7. And if it wasn't for Chris Paul's injury, they would have beaten the really good Golden State. So yeah, they could have won 2 or 3 rings there, and you would have put LeBron that much closer, if not past Jordan, if he would have had this air quote basketball decision back when he was 34 years old and played for this amount of money when he was 34 years old versus 42 per se. And also, the Spurs were interested. He could have played with the Spurs. He could have played with Philadelphia back then. So if it would have been about basketball then and taken a huge amount of just a boatload of money, then he could afford it. It's LeBron James. This guy's got a well of a endorsement deal with shoes and whatnot. I think he might not have been an air quote billionaire, but he would have had that title of greatest of all time, and he could have marketed himself like that, and he could have caught Jordan. But he did not do that. Now he's doing it now. So people ask me, so what do you think's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you what. If this team stays relatively healthy, you know Embiid's going to miss games because of injury, because he always does. You know LeBron's going to miss injury because of his age. I seriously think this is you think about this, with Hedgecombe coming into his own, with Tyrese Maxey in his prime, Maxey and Jaylen Brown, that should be your center point of your team. Late in games. Those are going to be the guys where LeBron's going to be a distributor. I just mentioned the fact that he's wanting to play point. LeBron could, if I'm LeBron, I'm gonna see if I can average 15 assists a game, between getting the ball to Brown off pick and roll and or Maxey off of some type of pick and roll and finding these guys open here, okay? Getting them open, and maybe you want to find out how to use Joel Embiid per se, how to use him where he's not clogging up the lane and dribble. You want to keep that ball flowing per se. But I do think that this team, if relatively healthy in the playoffs, could push a Knicks team to a 6 or 7 game in the Eastern Conference. I do think they would be that talented. The fact that LeBron, this is very NFL-like, LeBron has taken such a huge pay cut to play here. Now, this is going to be interesting. Let's see how it works. It's not going to work perfectly early. They're going to have to do some adjustments. It's going to be very bumpy in October and November. But by Christmas time, coming in around the All-Star break, if this team's hovering around 5, 6, 7 seed, remember they made the playoffs last year. If they're hovering around 5, 6, 7 seed, I think they can make a run, get closer to the 2 or the 3, right up there. I don't see why they can't make a run at the Eastern Conference. Now, fully healthy. Do I think they could beat an OKC or San Antonio next year? Absolutely not. Still, I don't think that can happen. Not unless those teams have injuries or of their own. Anything could happen per se. But it's an interesting, to say the least, folks. This is a very interesting signing here with LeBron James and the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay, weird story. Man, I tell you what, this San Francisco 49ers team, I know they're winning games. I know they are very close to Super Bowl status just about every year. Very good coaching there, very good running game there. But they have had some really bad drafts over the past few years. They're hanging on to older players. They didn't go offensive line early or tackle early when they've got Trent Williams, 36-year-old Trent, your left tackle who's hurt all the time. They not moved on from Brandon Ayuk. They're signing guys like Mike Evans, who's hurt all the time. They're an older team, a brittle team. They've had missed draft picks. There's been reports that Cal Shanahan has way too much personnel say, but John Lynch may take the fall for this. I say all this because this is a weird story. There's no other way to talk about this story. Out of San Francisco, Cal Shanahan, and God willing, I hope the guy recovers, gets a full of heat. But he got in a pretty bad accident back on July the 14th, and we did not know about this accident until Saturday, the 25th. Okay? And I'm trying to read the details here. We didn't know about this accident to July the 25th here, and I'm trying to find it, get all my information here, that the 49ers and their entire infrastructure were thrown into a tailspin Saturday. I got this from Heavy.com. This is widely reported. That the news that Kyle Shanahan suffered serious injuries in a car accident that kept him limited through training camp, broke his nose, 3 ribs, and hand, needed over 40 stitches in his face, suffered a severe concussion on July the 14th in Northern California. This is very odd. Now, I don't know why the 49ers are hiding this story there from the media, how the media did not report this. How complacent can you be? Is there something else to this story? Was there alcohol involved? That has not been reported, but I'm sure people are wondering why this was not reported a few weeks ago when this accident actually happened. Then on top of all that, they have Chris Forster. Chris Forster, and I thought, well, that name sounds familiar. He's a guy that had stepped away, I want to say back in 2017, 2018, from the Miami Dolphins because a video leaked out of him sniffing a powdery substance that looked like cocaine, that his mistress, you can't make this stuff up, that his mistress leaked the video out, I guess because she didn't get what she wanted out of him, leaked a video out of him. So this guy steps away from the next year, I want to say 2018, comes on as an assistant, I guess like an offensive line coach for the 49ers. Now he's the interim head coach until Kyle Shanahan gets his full recovery in from these non-life-threatening injuries for the San Francisco 49ers, okay? Like I said at the beginning of this topic here, this feels like a year where the 49ers simply might not even make the playoffs. If you look at good, Seattle's still pretty strong. San Francisco or LA, the Rams are the head and shoulders favorite above everybody in the division. Luckily for the 49ers, that Arizona's bad per se. But if you think about the Brandon Ayuk situation, you think about the bad draft picks, you think about stuff like this. Another bold prediction is that the general manager there, John Lynch, he could very well get fired this year. And Kyle Shanahan is going to be read the ultimatum by the organization that he cannot have player personnel say anymore, and he's just going to have to coach the players that the new general manager brings in because this is not working per se. I got a sense that very well may happen if this team falls off and goes like, say, 6-, which they very could. They could go 6-11 or something like that. I think Lynch will be the fall guy. Shanahan will be on the hot seat. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan will be on the hot seat coming in to the 2027 season. And this could very well, like I said before, because he reminds me a lot of Andy Reid in his last year at the Philadelphia Eagles. He reminds me so much of Andy Reid. He gets everything out of his quarterbacks, guys like McNabb, and man, there's so many quarterbacks there that he's had before he got Patrick Mahomes, gets to the playoffs, but he gets everything out of him. His offense works, but he finally gets that quarterback. But then Philadelphia grows tired of him. He moves on, finds the right quarterback with Kansas City. Now he's listed as one of the greater coaches of all time because he's got the right quarterback. I think the same thing is going to happen to Shanahan. Got to the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy and guys like a 7th round pick, but they can't quite get it over the top. Got everything out of the quarterback. Really good running game, good offense and whatnot. But I think there's a possibility they could move on him in the next 2 years. I think they will move on from Lynch. It looks like it. It looks like we're in that where Lynch is going to be the fall guy this year, after this year, and then next year they'll move on from him, and somebody will land a very good coach. Because this is getting weird, man. I mean, nobody knew about this car accident. Was there alcohol involved? I mean, why was it this put out on the 14th? This guy's a big-time coach. He was in the Super Bowl for years. And we as the general public's a public figure, okay? We don't know about this until July the 25th. That's weird. That's weird, you know? Okay, and then Chris Forster, of all people, is your interim head coach. You don't have a better assistant than Chris Forster, a guy that was thought to have sniffed cocaine just a few years ago and had to abruptly quit. Now, you know, supposedly went to rehab, got everything together, and good. And I hope that Forster got his life together. Hey, nobody's perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I just got done watching the Hulk Hogan documentary where all the situations with him cheating on his wife and then she cheating on him with the young guy and him being suicidal and the golfer thing, the racial ally. So Hogan wasn't perfect. And, you know, he asked everybody for forgiveness. And then, you know, rest in peace. He just died a year ago this past week. It was pretty good. I know Lane Kiffin mentioned it. I ordered Netflix and watched it on there. But the 49ers are a little bit of disarray. And that story's been overlooked, in my humble opinion. Okay. All right. Okay, like I said at the beginning of the program, folks, our Big Ten media days will start tomorrow. Some are saying the Big Ten may be better, slightly better than the SEC as a whole. Listen, they've won the last 3 championships. You know, Indiana won the national championship last year. You know, I'm going to talk a little bit about Ohio State today. Let me turn to their page here. Ohio State. Listen, there is a lot of speculation that second-year starter. I want to say Julian Saint's third year. Julian Saint is listed as a sophomore, but I think he's like a redshirt sophomore. He's a third-year player per se. They're in a situation kind of like Texas where they very well with Bo Jackson. I expect this Bo Jackson to have a great year. This running back here out of, they've got 8. I want to say they've got 8 starters return on offense. They're going to have one of the best offenses in the country. I mean, Jeremiah Smith probably. Hey, brother, I sent you the link, man. I emailed it to you. Check it again. You should have it. But anyways, Jeremiah Smith, one of the absolute best players in the country. Like I said, Bo Jackson, Julian saying, some are saying he can have a first round. This is, like I said, this could be a very, very good. It's projected to be a very good draft for quarterbacks coming up in 27. Okay. And Sayan's going to be one of those players. Bo Jackson, Jeremiah Smith, 8 starters returning on offense. Now, defense, they had a lot of players go in the NFL draft here. They've only got 4 from last year's team on defense. But Phil still says they have 6 starter-level players on defense. Here's the thing about Ohio State. Ohio State, folks, has been criticized, massively criticized, for having easy schedules in the past. Well, that is not the case this year. According to Phil Steele, Ohio State is number 6 in the country, most difficult schedule. I talked about this last week. Week 2, they're playing at Texas in Austin. I expect Texas to win that game. October 17th, they're playing at Indiana. And, you know, Phil Steele picked Ohio State to win this division. I'm not so sure. I think Indiana very well may win this division. You heard this right. Indiana may win the Big 12, or Big 10, excuse me. Indiana very well may win the Big 10 again. Okay? But talking Ohio State right now, they got to play at Indiana October 17th. Like I said, September 12th, second week of the season, they play at Texas. I do think Texas will beat them. But they got to play at USC on Halloween. They'll be favored in that game. They're coming off a bye week. But they've got Oregon. They've got Oregon the very next week. They got Oregon the very next week on November 7th. And Oregon, as I mentioned the other day, their offensive line, very young, a lot of new starters, but it's a lot of new starters on the defense for Ohio State. Those starters may be well adjusted by November 3rd. They much rather, if you're an Ohio State fan, you'd much rather have Oregon play Oregon in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season so you can get a jump on their offensive line. Yeah, so keep that in mind, folks. Keep that in mind. Then they play at Northwestern, at Nebraska on the 21st. And, of course, they got Michigan at home. So they could – I think they'll probably find a way to get back in the championship game with 2 losses, per se. Say, for example, they lose to Indiana and Texas. But they could, folks, they could have 3 losses. They could lose that Oregon game coming up on November 7th. We'll see how good they play. My guess is they'll probably win that game and they'll go 10-2 again, and they'll play for the championship game. But listen, Michigan has a second-year player in Underwood, 5-star top player last year, very raw last year. They got the new coach there from Michigan that come over from Utah. They're going to be much better coach there. Michigan's not going to be an easy out. Oregon, who knows? They could be underdogs at home against Oregon. Dante Moore, remember, is back for Oregon, and Oregon's defense is going to be very good. And then, of course, at USC. At USC is supposed to be a lot better this year, okay? That might not be an easy out. They may have to play tough against the USC, but the problem is they got to play Oregon the very next week. Luckily, it's not in Eugene for Ohio State. I get a sense, though, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're going to have 2 losses to still get to the championship game. But as I mentioned about Indiana has they're on the very next page, and Phil Steele's picking Indiana to finish second. Let me tell you something, folks. Kirk Cinetti may very well be the best coach in the country. You know, Urban Meyer told him to his face when they beat Ohio State last year and didn't make barely any mistakes in that game, no penalties practically. He said, that's the best coach team I've ever seen. Okay. Urban Meyer told Kirk Cinetti that last year. This team, folks, they have 8 offensive level starters on offense coming back. We know they lost Mendoza. They lost their leading receiver, leading running back. I mean, those are big time players. But they have 9 starter level players on defense. And of course, they got this Josh Hoover is a senior transfer from TCU. He's no slouch here. Indiana is a much easier schedule. Now, this ain't like the NFL where you win the Super Bowl to get a very difficult schedule. This is college football. The schedules are set up way ahead of time. Just to go over their schedule real quick, I mean, they start off against North Texas, Howard, Western. This is for real. This ain't a joke, folks. The national champions that went 16-0 last year, they don't have a tough game until they play at Nebraska on October 10th. And that's not even a great game. And then they play at Michigan, or they play Ohio State on the 17th at home. They could beat Ohio State, okay? But then they got to play at Michigan on the 24th. That could be a tough one. Minnesota for their homecoming. They got a bye week. They got USC, then at Washington. Their schedule is 24th in the country. Yeah. I mean, they could, you know, what if they lose a close game to Ohio State? They're probably playing Ohio State again in the Big Ten championship. And who knows how that game could go at the end of the season. It would be a close game, probably within 1 score either way, no matter who is favored. Okay. All right. Now, so I have not picked it. I'm going to study this a little closer. I think I'll give you a winner probably by Thursday. probably by Thursday. By the way, like I said, my phone service has been down. I may not do Uber tomorrow. TQ, I may not do Uber tomorrow because my cell service has been down. So TQ, I did email you the link. I didn't send you the text because T-Mobile's been down, brother. But anyways, going back to, listen, I'm glad I wanted to bring my man TQ on here, who's going to come on here in a few minutes. Let me get to my Auburn notes here. Auburn has Alex Golesh. Alex Golesh was the offensive coordinator for Tennessee when they had Hendon Hooker that 2022 year. The link wasn't in the email. Let's see. Let's try this again here. TQ. We'll go to a quick commercial break. I'm gonna try to send my man a link here again. Folks, stand by. We'll go ahead and play commercial here, and I'll be back here in a moment. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All right, folks, I'm back. Oh, okay. TQ. Check your email again. Check your email again. I sent the link, buddy. I've been way off today because my service has been down. All right. You check that email again, buddy. Going back to my notes, folks. Here, let's see. Auburn, they're 76. Let me go back here to my Phil Steele magazine. They're going to be an interesting team, folks. Auburn, like Tennessee in 2022, who had Hendon Hooker. Let me give you a backlog on this Alex Golesh, by the way. Alex Golesh comes over from University of South Florida, where I want to say they won like 9 games. So this is a pretty good hire here. They won like 9 games here, and Auburn won 5 last year. The over and under for Auburn, this is according to Vegas, is 6.5 games. So they're expected to win 6 to 7 games next year. So they're expected to get into a bowl game, and they're playing teams like Baylor, which would be pretty interesting because they've got DJ, and I can't remember his name now. It's slipping my mind. But Lagway, I want to say Lagway, from Florida, transferred to Baylor. 5-star guy, very talented quarterback. That's going to be a very good game in Atlanta coming up on September 5th. That's going to be a first game of the season. They very well may win that game, okay? But they've also, Auburn has this Brian Brown senior, or Brian Brown. He's a senior coming over from USFL, University of South Florida. This could be a Hendon Hooker situation. So they're going to run that very fast-paced offense, which means teams should be on upset alert if they're playing Auburn at home. For example, teams like Florida, Auburn, or Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt on September 26th will play at Auburn, okay? Vanderbilt will probably be favored. Remember, folks, Vanderbilt, they almost made the playoff last year. They're a built-up program now. All right, they're going to have a true freshman quarterback there. they'll probably beat Vanderbilt there. I may take Auburn there at home. Okay, so they play Arkansas at home. They've got Florida at home. Baylor's neutral site. They got LSU on October 24th at home. They might beat LSU at home there. Okay, LSU, very difficult schedule. Think LSU with the quarterback there and Lane, that'll probably be a prime time game there in Auburn. Auburn could knock them out. These guys are going to run that very fast paced offense. Let me look and see what South Florida. This is a good hire here. I want to say that Goolish here. So I got to thinking about that, and people were calling in Paul Feinbaum's show last week talking about Alex Goolish here. And this team may be a sleeper in the SEC here, per se. And I'm trying to, for example, Byron Brown, the quarterback. You're going to know his name towards the end of the year when he's playing here in the SEC. Last year, 12 games, 66% completed percentage, 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That's at South Florida. They were third. This is at USFL, folks. They were third nationally in total offense, fifth nationally in scoring, 40.5 points a game. So Auburn's got to be excited. They've got, and I had another Auburn fan I picked up to go to the airport on Saturday, brother. I didn't catch your name. I forgot your name, but I appreciate you subscribing to the At the Real Sports Scope YouTube channel. Okay. But yeah, I mean, they're going to run that Tennessee. Now, what's the big knock on Tennessee's offense? Well, they didn't play well on the road. I don't think this team, you look at the now starters that the new players that Phil Steele does not listed as starter level players that are going to be air quote new starters. They're going to have 8 new starters on defense. So they're probably going to be in a lot of shootouts. It's going to be like an old school Big 12 team, kind of like Tennessee was in the past, per se. But they're going to be fun to watch. They're going to be really fun to watch. But they're going to be a wild card team. He may be, other than maybe Lane Kiffin Lane Kiffin to LSU, he may be the best new coach in the SEC. Now, I know we've had quite a few. We've got John Summerall down in Florida. You've got a new coach down up in Kentucky. Obviously, you've got the interim coach that's come over from the assistant that was hired there at Ole Miss with all of Lane Kiffin's players. But, hey, TQ, if you want to come on in now, I'll go ahead. We'll talk about the University of Auburn. It looks like my phone service is back up. There he is. It's been crazy, man, this morning. But let me go ahead and bring my man up here because I'm pretty hyped up about Auburn right now.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me very well?
It's a crazy afternoon, brother. I don't know about you, but my cell phone service has been down for 4 hours with T-Mobile, and it just came back up. Now TQ's went out. I spoke too soon. Now he's
I'm here.
Oh, okay, brother. Good to see you. I'm not just hyping this up because you're on the program and we've been talking about Auburn, but I've been listening to SEC Media Days last week. People were calling in saying that fans are sleeping on this Alex Golesh coach there for Auburn.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to run that really fast, high-paced offense with this senior quarterback. You got to be pretty excited about this. They're in top 5 nationally scoring team in the entire country at USF. What's your thoughts about that, man?
3 words for my bettors out there: take the over. Take the over, man.
Yeah.
High pace. I love the fact that we're bringing a senior quarterback over. Dual threat. I think last year he combined for almost over 4,000 yards. I
Yeah,
think he combined for a total of 809 rushing yards. True dual threat, man. That's what we need at the SEC. Now, it will be a big question to see if that translates over to SEC football because, as me and you both know, it is a different league. It's a
it
totally
is a
different
different
league.
league. Do you see him have? And I mentioned this a few minutes ago. Do you see him having a Hendon Hooker type of effect that Hendon Hooker had on Tennessee back in 22 when they upset Alabama?
I
Ran the
think
same
so.
offense. Yeah,
I think so. The great part about it is no getting used to the offense. I mean, you're
yeah,
running the same offense that you just ran at USF with a lot of the same receivers, big tight end, and then you have Cobb coming back, very electric quarterback. I mean, running back out of the backfield.
yeah,
I mean, it should just translate, man. The question mark would be the defense.
yeah.
How would the defense look? We lost a lot of key players last year, but I mean, if the defense can hold up, it can get scary, man.
Yeah, yeah, they've got 8 starters, 8 new starters on defense. But Vegas has got a lot of faith. This ain't just me and you being cheerleaders for Auburn.
Yeah.
They're saying Auburn over and under is 6.5 wins. That's more than they won last year at 5-7. Hugh Freeze was a well of a coach at Ole Miss. Do you think that maybe they should have gave Hugh Freeze another year, or was you okay with them letting Freeze go after last year finishing 5-7?
I honestly think Hugh Freeze was at the cusp of becoming and building his team out. Actually, I think they let him go a season too short. If you look
Wow.
back over the season last year, a lot of those games were winnable games. The
Yeah.
quarterback play just was horrendous, man. We couldn't get the ball to Cam Coleman. We couldn't
Yeah.
get the ball to any of our targets. We didn't have an identity last year. I mean, we had some of the best. Jarquez Hunt was one of the best running backs in the
Yeah.
SEC. He didn't touch the ball enough, in my personal opinion, and we didn't get Cam Coleman enough touches, which is the reason why he went to Texas, which
Yeah.
is
He
my
went to
sleeper
Texas.
for the winner. Yeah, which is my sleeper for to win the SEC and maybe win the national championship. Man, Arsenal looked good toward the back end of the season last year. That's my hot take.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think they let him go season too early. Man, he had to get a quarterback. He had to get a quarterback that play his style. We didn't have an identity, which is what I like about Goalish. We actually have an offensive identity this year, so it should be exciting.
What do you think happened? What do you think happened to Freeze where he lost his fastball, where he's not the player or not the coach that he was a few years ago?
Honestly, I feel like it was maybe too much pressure, man. Being in Auburn is not for the weak. I mean, you got the
Yeah.
biggest of the biggest brothers in the same
Yeah.
state as you as with University of Alabama, and you're constantly compared. So it's always what have you done for me lately? If you don't beat Alabama, your bag should already be packed. Um, but also, I mean, they didn't give him enough time, man. I honestly feel like he could have did pretty well if he would have had this next season, got a good quarterback. I think he kind of kept Jackson Arnold at the driver's seat too long. We
Okay.
seen Jackson Arnold at Oklahoma. He was turnover prone at Oklahoma, and he was turnover prone at Auburn. I mean, we
Yeah.
had deep threats. I feel like they probably should have played Deuce or Ashton Daniels, which I mean, once you seen Ashton Daniels get in, it was a totally different team, man. But
Yeah.
I'm excited about this year.
You got to be hyped up now. This first game
Yes.
is in Atlanta against Baylor. Baylor's got DJ Lagway, who transferred from Florida.
Yeah.
This is going to be a well of a game. How do you see that game playing out, man? Week 1.
3 words, man. Take the over, man. Should
Lagway's
be a
talented,
shootout.
man. Yeah,
Should be
I
a
love
shootout,
Lagway.
man.
Yeah,
I think it would be reminiscences of the game last year where we played Baylor and it was a shootout to the end, man. We'll get a chance to
yeah,
see how high powered our offense really is. Baylor doesn't play any defense.
right.
Um, and DJ Lagway has a chance to redeem himself, man. He was very turnover prone at Florida last
Yeah,
year. So hopefully he gets a chance to, redeem himself. I'm open for a good game, man. I'm all
yeah,
for a good game of football. I think we pull that game out. I mean, Atlanta is it's pretty much a home game for us. A lot of our students come from Atlanta.
yeah. Did
So
you go to Auburn?
yeah, I went to Auburn. Yeah, I'm a
Oh,
Auburn grad,
man.
man.
That's awesome. I picked up another Auburn fan on Saturday morning, took him to the airport. He's ecstatic about this season. You play at Alabama November 28th. My hot take is I know it's a $72 million buyout, but I think Keelan DeBoer will get fired this year. How do you see that game? But it is at Alabama. My biggest knock on Auburn probably going into this year, we don't know that, but they're probably not going to play well on the road because Tennessee doesn't play well on the road because they run that fast-paced offense as well. But can you see them knocking out a pretty weak Alabama team, I think, coming into this season?
I mean, it is the Iron Bowl. Anything can happen. But historically, like you said, historically, even us, we've been weak on the road. We're more of a home team, man.
Yeah.
Games, funny stuff happens to happen at Jordan Hare. Some people like to say it's haunted. The dungeon, I like to call it. So, I mean, we down there at Tuscaloosa. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a tough game, man. It's gonna be tough to win. But anything can happen in the Iron Bowl, man. That's why rivalries are the most exciting thing about sports. I
Yeah.
think we may drop that one honestly. If we progress through the season, anything can happen.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're one of the more. The more I think about this, I think that your new hire may be the second best hire in the SEC, other than Lane Kiffin going to LSU. And by the way, you play LSU on October 24th, and LSU's got a tough schedule. That's in Auburn. That'll probably be a night game. What do you think about that game? I know we're looking ahead, but hey, that's what we do.
I think that's a gauge game for us. I mean, that's towards the middle of the season, correct? It's after a couple games. We should have our feet on us.
Yeah, it
Um,
is between Georgia and Ole Miss. I mean, you could get demolished there,
oh yeah,
but hey,
Georgia
LSU's got some tough games too.
is Georgia. It's in Athens. I'm counting
Yeah,
that as a L. We don't beat Georgia in Athens.
yeah, me too, brother.
We don't beat
It's
them in Athens.
unfortunate. They just got better
Yeah,
players.
yeah,
When
yeah.
Tennessee played at Georgia, that's what I just put L there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
We don't beat
almost
them in
right.
Athens, man.
Yeah,
I think that LSU game is going to be very competitive, man, and it's a game to gauge yourself. I feel like we have certain games with Ole Miss, LSU. Those are games where you gauge yourself and see, all right, is this team going to be on the verge of winning 8 games, or is this just going to be another 6-6, 5-7 season?
yeah. But don't you think 6-6? That's better than 5-7
Yeah,
for
yeah.
first year coach. I think that'd be pretty good to get back to a bowl game.
That's my floor, man. My floor is 6-6. I think we can get
Yeah,
6 games. I think the ceiling for me is 8-4. There's
yeah,
preseason optimism. Some people call it preseason delusion. However you want to flip it and turn it. But
yeah.
I think 8-4 is our ceiling. 75 is great for me, and 6-6. I mean, we get a bowl game, man, and that's a great look.
Yeah, you know something? I wrote that down in my notes as well. 8-4 could very well Auburn. They could knock out an LSU at home. You got teams like Baylor, Southern Miss. You could beat Florida at home. You could
Yeah.
beat Vanderbilt at home, and Vanderbilt may be favored in that game because of Vanderbilt. They're a legit team right now.
It all depends. I think the offense is something for the first time, and since Bo Nix freshman year,
Yeah,
the offense is something that I'm not as worried about this year.
yeah,
With an offensive minded coach coming in, you have the quarterback, you have the skill players, the defense, man. Historically, if you look past in the past 3 to 4 years,
yeah,
Auburn has had one of the better front four in the SEC, man. He just hadn't had the offense to kind of give them the break. So I'm excited to see, man, if the defense can come together, this could be very, very, very competitive season for us.
yeah, yeah. It's going to be a fun season. They're going to be one of the teams that normally I would not record, but this year I will be recording.
Yeah.
And you're right. I'll probably, especially early in the season, I don't know what their depth's like. We're going to find out. You're right. Will be taking the over. I mean, the over and under are probably going to be 70, 80 points in some of these games.
Yeah, this is my
Which
type
is
of game,
fun to
man.
watch. I like those kind of games, man. Not all the time, but early in the season, the
Yeah.
weather's good. Let the sparks fly. So, what made you want to go to Auburn, man? Being here from Nashville, I never did get a chance to ask you that. Kind of got ahead of myself.
Oh, so actually, I'm from a small town in Alabama, man,
Okay.
country, Union Springs, Alabama, and my entire family, believe it or not, they are Alabama fans through and through.
Mm.
Uh, and just like the youngest in the family, man, you always want to go against the grain.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I mean, man, you got things like the kick six,
Yeah.
the juggle touchdown against Georgia. Man, it's a lot of things that made me a fan of Auburn, along with going against my family and being the only person in this orange and navy blue while
Yeah.
they have on their crimson.
Wow. So you went against the grain. You got accepted at Auburn. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's a
That is
story,
really
man.
cool. So, do you have anything else that you need to plug before we wrap this thing up? By the way, I'll bring you back. Like, if they start kicking butt in the regular season, I'll bring you back on before some of these big games, man. If you want to come on and
Yeah,
talk some
definitely.
Auburn football, that would be great.
Definitely, man. Yeah, yeah. I'm a SEC baby through and through, man. I love the SEC in general. SEC
Yeah,
football is the greatest brand of football. No matter what people say, I feel like it's
yeah,
the greatest brand of football in the world.
yeah.
Um, my dark horse, like I said, for to win the SEC this year, is Texas. I think
Okay,
Texas has a good chance. But I do think all roads go through Athens.
yeah,
I think Texas and Georgia, man. Those are my two for the SEC. I'm interested to see if Indiana can repeat.
yeah.
We'll see, man. But for the most part, if you got a little extra cash to throw on Brown for the Heisman, I think he's like plus 900.
Interesting. He might do that. Yeah, he might
he's,
get caught up there if he could stay
he's a
healthy.
dark horse, man. And this is one of those seasons where I hate to say this,
Yeah.
but it's a Cam Newton
Wow.
feel. That's my preseason delusion fake, man. So we'll see, man. Maybe the viewers will get a chance to either call me an idiot or call me a a, a genius.
Well, I tell you what, I was just talking about Ohio State, and I was looking at Indiana's schedule. This ain't like the NFL where you win the Super Bowl, you get a very tough schedule. Their schedule's ranked 24th in the country. This is Indiana. Ohio State's is sixth. You know, normally Ohio State gets a lot of criticism for having an easy schedule. Well, they got to
Yeah,
play at Indiana. They've got Oregon this year, Michigan, at Texas. Ohio State, it's not an easy ride for Ohio. They're going to have a very good offense like Texas, but they've lost a lot of players on defense. A lot of them playing in the NFL right now. You
yeah,
know, Indiana could very well. Urban Meyer said that's the best coach team he's ever seen last year, and they got
it
this
was.
transfer from TCU coming in, who's a senior also. So Indiana might be right back there.
I think so, man. They have a great chance of doing it. I mean, the system is just in place, man. If you got a system in place, it's just plug and play. He has
Yeah,
the he has a
he's
system.
got that culture set up, man.
Yeah, it's repetitive. It can be it's Saban like
Yeah,
that system, and he demands excellence. So I mean, we could very well see Indiana, hoisting the trophy again at the end of the year.
that would be crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it would
some are
be.
saying he's one of the top. He might be the best X's and O's disciplinary coach now that Saban's retired in the country. A lot of people still got, oh God, they still got our guy from Georgia as a top
Kirby.
coach. Yeah, Kirby Smart there. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I'm not really sure that they were just a one-hit wonder. They were in the playoffs the year before last. Now they got
There
beat,
were.
going back to Indiana. But I'm curious to see how good Ohio State. A lot of analysts are saying is going to really take off this year at Ohio State with all those returning offensive starters.
Well, my gripe about saying last year was anytime he was under pressure, which you seen in the
Yeah,
Indiana game where they dropped. And all the games that they lost. I mean, if he was under pressure, he didn't look as
yeah,
best as he like could. And that's a part of being an NFL quarterback is playing under pressure.
yep.
That's why I was so high
In
on
a
Ty
nutty
Simpson
pocket.
last year. Yeah, I was so high on Ty Simpson last year because that team really overachieved last year, for Alabama,
Right.
and it was strictly because of his brain, man. So I'm excited to see Julian Sand take the next step. A lot of pre-snap stuff. I want to see some pre-snap reads. I want to see his progression as a quarterback, and how he deals with the pressure and reading those blitzes and taking the next step.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. TQ, and you're not doing a podcast or anything, or do you have anything to plug, my friend?
I mean, I have a podcast in the works.
Okay. You keep me
Definitely.
updated.
Yeah, definitely. By the next time we join up, I definitely have something going. I
Yeah.
think this has sparked the fire in me, man, and hopefully we can connect sometime soon, man, and we can
Yeah.
chop it a little bit more, man. I love to talk football. I love to talk sports in general.
Man.
It was great to connect, man. This started from an Uber ride, man.
You Uber ride, brother. Hey, I brought in what's this guy's name here? Hold on, let me get my man here. I gotta give him credit. He is a commit. Julian Murdoch is a 3-star quarterback going to Chicago State University
Okay.
this year. He's going to be their quarterback. And he's here from Nashville. Met him from an Uber ride. Going to bring him on during the season as well. So, yeah, I'm meeting a lot of people driving around town. You saw the display, getting the
Yeah.
marketing out there. So, I love it. And you guys really know your stuff. I can tell, man, you're on point, brother. You really got it. I'm really
Yeah, man.
impressed with the way you've handled this interview, man.
Yeah, man. I love to talk sports, man. I love not just Auburn. I love sports, and then I love meeting new people, man. And this is
Yeah,
something I definitely can see getting bigger and bigger, man. And
yeah,
I love this, man. I'm definitely going to be following along.
yeah. Appreciate it.
It's
Share the
yeah, definitely.
program. I'll take some clips. I'll send them back to you. And if you need any help, I use the StreamYard service. It's very user friendly. Older guys like me figure it out, and I'm not very tech savvy. I know you are. I was a little bit shaken up. Like I said, I got T-Mobile. I ain't had cell phone service in 4 hours. I'm going off of my Comcast, my Xfinity. I wouldn't have been able to got the show up. I just now came back on it. It showed that my text went through. But I haven't had self service in 4. But I took today off from Uber. Thank God. I wouldn't be able to drive anyways.
Yeah,
But this is some wild stuff. But yeah, man, StreamYard. I pay about $1,000 a year. I can stream about 100 hours, and it goes to my Facebook, my YouTube, and of course I can download it onto my Spotify, and it goes through all of my podcast and whatnot. So
yeah,
you could get a hold of me off the air if you want to do that. Here in the near future, keep me updated, man, and I'll try to help
definitely,
you out as much as I can.
definitely. Before I leave, I just want to give a major shout out to my city, Union Springs, Alabama, Bullitt County High
Union Springs,
School.
Alabama.
We're putting it on the map, man, slowly but surely. We have a great quarterback there. I want to find his name and name drop it for you, man. When you get a chance, I want you to take a look at him, man. He is a great quarterback. Um, See if I can find his name. I can text it over to you, man. If you
Yeah,
get some film, we'd love to get him out there. We have a lot of
yeah.
upcoming talent.
If you
Again,
got
man,
some
Union Springs, Alabama.
some star guys that's committed to big colleges, yeah, I'd love to interview them. And
Yeah, definitely.
I'll clip it and use it for the resume tape.
Yep, definitely.
All
All right,
right, see
Robert.
you, buddy. Hey, man, let me
Thank
send
you.
you out with a round of applause.
Hey,
Have a good night, buddy.
you
See you,
too.
man. All
See
right,
you soon.
everybody. Let's see. I will be back here Thursday with the Bad New Yorker. We'll be talking about this Big Ten. And I'll get his take on the SEC as well as some of these other crazy stories here in NFL, including LeBron going to the Philadelphia 76ers. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next time here on The Real